What's up, everyone? Welcome to Power Play with CJ. Today we're going to talk about the 5-year contract extension worth $27.5 million that Mikhail Grabovski inked last night with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Been a pretty good second-line center for Toronto in their top six. Kessel and Lupul obviously having career years, and Grabovski's playing very well himself. Burke overpaid for Kessel, and he might overpay for this guy too. I'd say Grabovski is worth 3.5 to 4.5 million. Okay, his career high in points was last year, which is 58. He's got 45 points in 59 games this year, so he's playing very well. Got 20 goals for the second consecutive year and third time in 4 years. So okay, that's pretty good. Is he worth 5.5 though? You're in a hockey crazed market. You should be willing to take a hometown discount. I'm not saying, hey, Mr. Grabovski, take the money and run, bro. Obviously, but Berkey, you got beat on this one, my man. You put it off. You probably could have gone signed for 4.9, a few months ago, and then you put it off to the last minute, and now you're stuck with this albatross of a contract. Now, Grabovski, like I said, pretty good player. I like him a lot. He's a little versatile. 28 years old. They got him from the Canadians for a pick a few years ago, and they really fleeced him on that. Montreal knew he really was going to succeed in Montreal if he's stuck in a bottom six role, and Toronto gave him that chance to play a top six role, and he's played very well. Come on, 5.5 million. I think that's worth more than the average on John Tavares' contract. It's like, dude, come on. But like I said, if the guy's willing to stay, willing to meet him there, I guess. Lupul's a free agent for next year. I wouldn't rush to sign him yet because you want to see, he's having a great year, obviously. But is he a one-trick pony, a one-year wonder type of thing? I don't know. I think give him. I'd say give Lupul 30 games next year before we really start to talk contract with him. Just to see where you're going with this group. They got some pretty good young forwards in the organization. Nazem Kadri and Joel Coburn come to mind. So I guess you try to fit those guys in. Grabovski, Kessel, Coburn, Kadri, Lupul going forward. Maybe drop six. MacArthur. Connolly. Really doesn't show me too much. You really need a competent center to play with Kessel. So, but for the most part, what's his plus minus? He's plus 14 last year. Wow. The last 3 years he's been plus every year. Plus 3 in 2010 when they had the worst record in the Eastern Conference. Plus 14 when they weren't good last year, and plus 7 this year. They've been inconsistent. So I guess that's a pretty good thing. It's just with guys like this that are so enigmatic. I'm gonna sound racist when I say it's like most Eastern European players. You don't know. It's really a crapshoot as opposed to the usual just kind of a crapshoot. But we'll see how it shakes up. I think Burke is too in love with himself. I really do. Like I said, going back to the Kessel trade, if you offer sheeted Kessel for the amount of money he gave him, he could have got a first, second, only given up a first, second, and a third. As a Bruins fan, I'm glad we fleeced him. But 2 firsts and a second, so we got the best young defenseman prospect outside of the NHL. Budding superstar in Tyler Seguin, and a pretty good young top six forward to top six potential in Jared Knight. And you guys got Kessel. You're not going to win a Stanley Cup with Kessel. It's your first line ring. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to burst the bubble of the fans in Toronto. It's not going to happen. He's not championship level material. He could be a bit player on a championship team. He's not big enough in the big moments. He just doesn't have what it takes to be successful on a consistent basis in the playoffs. And, Toronto's going to be lucky to make the 8th spot this year. And, see what happens. See what Randy Carlyle can do the last 15 games or so. But, so, outline of the episode. Grabovski, not that great of a deal, but time will tell. Kessel, you can't win a Stanley Cup with on your first line. Randy Carlyle's got his hands full, and Brian Burke's in love with himself. And I like Burke as a person. I just think he's, and I like his GM too. I just think he's fucking a little pompous for my liking. But like I said, he's a good man. He's really done a lot of work to help people in situations that need help, obviously. eradicate homophobia from hockey, I think is one thing that is really admirable, no matter what team you root for. To really make everyone on the same page, so to speak, and that's a great thing Burke's done. And I don't mean to harp on Brian Burke as a person. I just think he's kind of overrated as a GM. So, Leafs fans, bash me on that. Don't ever bash me for bashing for bash. Whatever. That's it for this episode of the Power Play with TJ. Stay tuned for more episodes throughout the season. Later, guys.